Can I tell you a little bit of a story about that?
Yeah.
When I came to the AT&T headquarters in 1964, I think it was, something like that. The date's not important. My boss, one step removed, who didn't know me particularly well, nor did I know him. And so he in this conversation over in his office over coffee or whatever, he said, now you've come in here from one of the big Bell companies from out in the field, and he said, you probably think that, this is the pinnacle, of this great and wonderful Bell telephone system, that all the brains are here, we've thought of everything, we're on top of everything. And he said, some of that is true from day to day, but he said, let me tell you something. He said, this outfit works like a mom and pop corporation business, even though it has an address in New York City. And he said, I'll tell you something. He said, you can make it do anything you think it needs to do or that you want it to do. You just better be right most of the time.
Right.
That was his message. Well, that was like saying, free at last, because at that point I was kind of in mid-career. I mean, it wasn't
you were at Southwestern Bell at that time.
Yeah. And so, I found that was absolutely true. If some problem came up and one of the department heads and, and other, not the PR, other departments, called up and said, need a little help, and you'd stride into his office and he'd state the problem and he'd say, okay, here's what we're going to do about it. You didn't ask.
Right.
And by the way, that's another lesson, is that don't bring problems to bosses, bring solutions.
Right.
But anyway, so that was wonderful. So in due course, I was transferred back to Southwestern Bell on a promotion, and I was a holy demon when I got back there, because it worked there too. You could, whatever you thought, was a solution to an issue or a problem or what needed to be done, you just did it, and no one ever said, who gave you the authority to do that,
Yeah.
So, big lesson, big lesson, and that was my first big boss at AT&T. He said, this is a mom and pop outfit. You can do whatever you want to.
Yeah,
that
was encouragement that you didn't expect.
Right.
But you knew what to do with it.
Well, I had great mentors, there's no question about that. And the culture of the business, of that business, encouraged mentoring. I mean, it wasn't a class you went to, it wasn't some kind of school, but bosses were expected, as they were, as from what I'm told, in Johnson & Johnson, they were expected to and were rated to some extent on how well they brought along subordinates, and made them better than they were.
Exactly.
And fitted for higher jobs, so I certainly benefited from that.
If you were a follower, you quickly got lost in the crowd.
Yeah.
You had to try to emulate a leader.
Yeah.